Hey guys, Dr. J here. This is episode 18 of my Dark Souls Remastered walkthrough series. In this series, I will be defeating all the enemies, collecting all of the items, and talking about the story and lore of the game. In this episode, we'll explore Oolacile Township. The first thing I did after resting at the bonfire was return to the Tomb of the Giants. Since that's the only bonfire I've fully kindled, we probably won't need 20 Estus Flask charges for Oolacile Township, but it doesn't hurt to have them. After that, I returned to where we fought Artorias and found Cioran kneeling at his grave.
You? Is that not the soul of the man who fell on this spot? He was a dear friend. I wish to pay proper respect with that soul. Would you be willing to...
You could decide not to give her Artorias' soul.
You are very kind. Please take this. I no longer need it. May the Lord guide thee.
You also have the option of killing her. That way, you keep Artorias' soul, get both of her weapons, and she'll also drop her armor set. But I'll act as the good guy and leave her be. Now let's start our exploration of Oolacile Township. It's not a particularly big area, so we should be able to finish it fairly quickly. The most common enemies here are Oolacile residents and Oolacile sorceresses. Both die in a single hit from our great size. The residents only use melee attacks. This over here is a shortcut we'll open later. But back to the residents, although their melee attacks are relatively strong, they're otherwise not very threatening. The sorceresses, on the other hand, use very powerful dark magic, so we should always prioritize them, and if we can't kill them before they cast, we should use a ranged weapon and pick them off safely. I'll kill this resident with my longbow, because if I go farther down these steps, the marvelous Chester, whom we met in the previous episode, will invade. He's actually a tough opponent. The best way to deal with him is to backstab him the moment he appears, and finish him before he can react. He has some slick moves, and his crossbow is deadly. Now let's come over here. Then go down these stairs. We should be careful though, there is another resident around the corner. Now we should keep going down. Then we'll need to dodge roll onto the next building. Go around to the other side, and there will be a crystal lizard on the rooftop of the building next to us. But we'll ignore it for now and come back later. This illusory wall can only be dispelled if we have a light source. There is a very important item hidden here, the silver pendant. It's a usable item that can protect us from dark magic. It works against the sorceress's spells, but it's fairly impractical in general. It's best to use it against Manus. He has an almost undodgeable dark magic attacks, and the silver pendant helps a lot with those. That was one of the 2 items we needed from this area. All the other items are optional, but we'll collect them, of course. Anyway, inside the chest, we'll find the Dark Orb sorcery. After collecting it, we'll have to go all the way back up to where we fought the marvelous Chester. This part can be a bit disorienting, but the rest of the area is fairly straightforward. There are hidden items, but we won't have to go that far out of our way. Okay, we're back here. Now we should go down these stairs all the way to that chest, which is actually a mimic. Thankfully, the great size two-handed R1 is ideal for killing mimics. These carvings are interesting, by the way. We can use them like a prism stone, and a voice will say whatever's written on them. Let's deal with the crystal lizard now. Then we should continue down the stairs. There is a resident hidden here, another on the bridge, and a sorceress on the far side. This part can be a little tricky. If you're not confident in your dodges, it's safer to tank a hit from the sorceress than risk falling to your death. We have another resident here, another to the right, and one more will drop from the floor above when we pick up this item. The item is just rubbish, by the way. Just as a reminder, you can trade it to Snuggly for a Titanite chunk. On this floor, there is a sorceress behind the stairs. Unfortunately, we can't plunge attack her, but if you move diagonally, she'll likely miss with her dark magic. There are 3 more residents ahead and a sorceress on the second floor. Because of her, even though I've been reckless, I will use my bow to lure the residents first. There's some kind of object blocking my arrows against the sorceress, so it's safest to pull the residents and then deal with her. The item on the hanging corpse over there is another dark sorcery. This was the moment I gave up trying to hit her and instead killed the last resident. I got too close and aggroed her, but eventually I found an angle to snipe her with the longbow. Almost forgot to bring the corpse down. There is an item hidden here. After grabbing the soul, I collected the dark sorcery, which turned out to be dark fog, and then went up the stairs here. I kept going all the way up to the top. There is a resident to kill here. And then I continued forward until I reached a wall. It's another illusory wall that needs a light source. Inside the second room beyond it, we'll find a chest with a red Titanite chunk. Now we should go back to where that illusory wall was. A little bit farther. We need to dodge roll from this platform to reach the next room. Next to that resident is another mimic. This one is important because it drops the Crest Key, which we'll need for the Kalameet fight. Now we should kill the resident hiding here, then enter this room and take the ladder down. We don't actually need to come here if the sorceress we killed earlier didn't drop anything. The next item we need is outside the building. To reach it, we should drop down here and then climb onto this roof. It's a twin humanities. Then we should return to where we dropped and go farther down to the street level. Next, we should open the shortcut to the start of Ulesil Township. We're actually very close to the next bonfire, but it's good that this shortcut exists, because the next part can easily kill you. We'll fight 2 sorceresses and several residents. I'm only going to snipe the residents in front of the sorceresses, then rush in and try to kill them before they kill me. Okay, here we go. I missed my first attack, but the second one killed one of the sorceresses, and I got lucky with the dodges. Overall, it went as good as I could have hoped for. There is an itemized soul hidden here, and we are pretty much done with Ulasil Township. Just a couple more enemies before the next bonfire. Ahead is a unique enemy, the Chained Prisoner. He's literally unique. There is only one of him. He drops parts of the chain armor set. Since the next bonfire is right behind him, it's easy to farm him for the whole set. We'll have a little surprise on the elevator. Now we should take it all the way down and light the next bonfire. There's nothing in these cells. Beyond this bonfire begins the next area, the Chasm of the Abyss. Before continuing, I put a point into Vitality. Right, into the Chasm of the Abyss. It's kind of like Tomb of the Giants, but way less annoying. This is the only crystal lizard here. After we kill it, we should head a little farther. You can already see why it's less annoying. The enemies are visible from a distance, and you don't really need a light source. And it's almost impossible to fall off by accident. We'll deal with a few residents first. I wanted to lure some away because of this sorceress here. I messed up my dodge roll. Not that it mattered, we're close to the bonfire. The reason so many enemies guard this item is because it's the most powerful sorcery in the game, Dark Bead, notorious for the massive damage it can deal to a boss. Anyway, we should head over there to where that prism stone was pointing and keep going forward. Past that large cluster of humanities on the right, we'll see something on the left. This ledge is actually an illusion. We'll drop down and then meet Elvina again. She's trying to lead us somewhere. Aside from the residents and the sorceresses, the only enemy here are these giant humanities. They only hurt you if they touch you. They're not worth many souls, but they have a decent chance to drop a humanity, so it may be worth farming if you need it. Anyway, this is a shortcut back to the bridge where Marvelous Chester sits. I find it kind of useless since the bonfire is so close and it's warpable. We'll head back down into the chasm now. Right next to where we saw Elvina is another illusory wall. I got a bit confused here. But this is the wall I meant. Through it, we'll find Sif, surrounded by giant humanities. If we kill them all, we'll save her. As a reward, she'll give us a shield, and becomes available to summon for the Manus fight later. If we hadn't killed her in the present, the cutscene would change slightly. She would still fight us in the present, but she'd recognize us as her savior. Okay, all of the humanities are dead. Now we just need to wait a bit. This is purely optional. Nothing major changes if you don't save her, especially since I won't use her for Manus anyway. Now that we are done with this side quest, we should follow the prism stones again. First, we should take a left here, go down this path, kill the giant humanities, and pick up the dark sorcery at the end. Killing them without getting touched is harder than it looks. I could have used the bow, but that would have taken too long. Okay, they're dead. Let's grab the black flame and then return to the last prism stone, and this time take the path going up. At the end, there is another item and a sorceress. This item is another humanity. Now we should drop down from here and head towards the big cluster of giant humanities. It takes a while to clear them, so I'll fast forward. Okay, after that massacre, we should drop down here, and after killing another giant humanity, pick up this carving. The reward was a bit underwhelming, but anyway, we're back to where we picked up the black flame sorcery. Now we should go all the way up to where we killed the sorceress and drop down again. This time we should follow the prism stones across this toppled column. There is a twin humanities below it, and we're almost done with the area. The boss fog gate is down there, but first there is another item to grab. It's right at the end of this tunnel. We should kill a couple more giant humanities to get it. This time the reward is worth it. A white Titanite slab is pretty rare. Now we should head back a bit and follow the prism stones again. There are a few more giant humanities we need to kill. And the last item we can collect here is an itemized soul. After that, I needed to do a little bit of prep for Manus. I healed up and then popped all of my itemized humanities. At our level, it won't boost our resistances much, but every little bit helps. I also put the silver pendant in a quick use slot, because Manus has a couple of basically undodgeable dark magic attacks. Before entering, I used Power Within, of course, and at the start of the fight, I used the Sunlight Blade miracle. The general consensus is that Manus is one of the hardest bosses in the game, but I've never really felt that way. Probably because by the time I reach him, I'm already overpowered. Even though my dodging was pretty bad here, the sheer damage from a buffed Great Scythe plus Power Within just annihilated him. He also didn't use his undodgeable dark attacks much. Not that it would have saved him. Oh, and something I forgot to mention. Sif's summoning sign is, unlike most others, inside the boss arena. If we wanted to use her, we'd have to summon her during the fight. Now that Manus is dead, there's only one DLC boss left. And honestly, every time I fight him, I'm terrified. I'm talking about Kalameet. There's something we need to do before his boss fight triggers. Before that, I used the souls we got to boost my vitality a bit more. There's only a few items in this section, but to trigger Kalameet, we need to visit a certain spot and then come back here to meet the last DLC NPC. Before that, let's talk to Marvelous Chester again.
Or are you just thick? Fine then. What is it that you need? Did you really slay Knight Artorias? I'd heard the Abyss found him first, but even still, that's absolutely treacherous. Yes, magnificently so. Believe it or not, Ulasil has brought the Abyss upon itself, fooled by that toothy serpent. They upturned the grave of primeval man and incited his ornery wrath. What could they have been thinking? But to you and I, it's all ancient history. You have to ask yourself, does it really matter? Well, you've quite the nerve. I've had enough of you.
Time for a little lore.
You survive.
From what we've seen, at some point in the past, a primordial serpent, likely Gough, fooled Ulasil into awakening Manus. When that happened, Manus went wild and the Abyss expanded, corrupting Ulasil's people. Considering the torture chambers we found, it's possible Ulasil had already started dabbling in dark sorceries even before Gough appeared and told them about the grave of the primeval man, especially since we saw so many giant humanities down there, possibly formed from the human experiments that the sorcerers conducted. At some point, Artorias and his wolf Sif came here on their hunt for dark raids. Artorias faced Manus and was likely defeated. He still managed to cast a protective spell on Sif, keeping her alive until we rescued her, but he couldn't save himself and was corrupted by Manus. That's when we met and defeated him. The fact that Artorias fought Manus is suggested by finding Sif in the Abyss, and Dusks believe that Artorias saved her. I'll come back to the lore in a bit. Us coming here and seeing Kalameet is what we needed to trigger before talking to the next NPC. Now we have to meet him. Okay, back to Manus for a second. Honestly, I'm not sure what he wanted with Princess Dusk. Maybe it's tied to that broken pendant. It was clearly important. He reached through space and time to bring us here because we had it. We only had half, and the Marvelous Chester likely had the other half, which is why he was brought here as well. That's about all I wanted to say on Ulasil and the Abyss. Now let's visit that last NPC. To meet him, we need to open this door with the key we got from the Mimic.
A visitor, have we? Thou must be the one who freed Artorias. An old friend he was. Thanks to thee, he left this world with honor intact. And here I am, retired and blind. Of little help to thee, I'm afraid.
Because we already saw Kalameet in what would later become Darkroot Basin, if we leave and then talk with Gough again, he'll offer to shoot Kalameet down.
Shall never be forgotten. We knights fought valiantly, but for every one of them, we lost 70 of our own. Exhilaration, pride, hatred, rage. The dragons teased out our dearest emotions. Thou will understand one day. At our twilight, old thoughts return in great waves of nostalgia. Me, There's very little to be said. What good is a dog with no hairs to hunt? But I'm lucky to be alive, I suppose. Me? There's very little to be said. What good is a dog? But
Now we should leave and talk to him again.
as thou seest fit. Tomorrow, is the black dragon posing thee duress?
We'll answer yes.
I thought as much. He's called Kalameet. Ferocious dragon indeed. Even mighty Analonda dared not provoke his ire. I see little good coming from this, but my intent is to persevere to the bitter end.
And yes again.
Good, good. What is bravery without a dash of recklessness? I've taken a liking to thee, and I owe thee much for thy service to Artorias. Now, watch, and see how Gough hunts dragons.
Get ready for, in my opinion, the coolest cutscene in the game.
Yes, the truest shot was never loosed. That bat will be grounded for a good spell. The rest is in thine hands. I await good tidings. Dragon slaying. Knighthood's highest calling.
Now that Calamity is down, we should return to where we saw him. There will be a fog gate this time.
He's an ancient dragon. Skyward or no, he will not be put down easily.
We don't need to buff before going through. The fight won't start until we reach the bottom of the ladder, and we'll even have time to reach the waterfall and then buff. I will use, as usual, Power Within and Sunlight Blade. There's nothing unusual about this fight. Most attacks aren't hard to avoid, except the one where he flies up and bathes the arena in fire. I always get disoriented and struggle to avoid it. Fortunately, it's not a one-shot. You can heal afterwards. As with many tailed bosses, you can cut off his tail for a weapon. I'm not going to try it though. It's pretty tough to do, and I still have PTSD from my first fight with him. The fight probably looked really easy, and well, it is, but only because of the huge damage from our buffs. If we let them expire, the fight becomes much harder. Sure, I could have whittled him down first to make it safer, but that's too much effort for that weapon. Anyway, that was the last boss in the DLC. All that's left is to collect this Titanite slab over here. Actually, not quite. We can get a couple more items as rewards from the NPCs. First is Gough's great bow. If we return to Gough and tell him we defeated Kalameet, he'll give us his bow.
Why? Thou hast defeated Calamity? Wondrously played. Lord Gwyn's blessing upon me. That beast will never take to the skies again. This great bow, I shan't need it, with no dragons to hunt. I know not if a human could even operate it. But here, thy need outweighs mine. Farewell, proud human. May every honor be bestowed upon thee.
Second is 3 Elizabeth's mushrooms. From Elizabeth, of course.
I have awaited thee. Thou hast rescued Princess Dusk and rid us of that terrible primeval human, even halting the spread of the abyss. I salute the grandeur of thine enterprise. Please allow me to express my gratitude. I thank thee, as do we all. I will remember thee, but I will keep thy story to myself. This is the best way, for thou art come from a time far ahead. No one will sing thy praises, but yet thy greatness shall live on, for it shall be my purpose to remember all thou hast done for us. Was thine eye glancing hither? Thou needst not hide thy wonder. I am a mushroom, after all.
With that, we are officially done with the DLC. I will use Kalameet's souls to increase my vitality again, then warp back to Anor Londo. This time we will explore the entirety of the Duke's archives, but that's for the next episode. I think this is a good place to end today's episode. Thank you for watching this video, and if it was helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you pressed the like button, subscribed to my channel if you haven't already, and left a comment down below.